This is a tale of two societies. One is a matriarchy, where women are the leaders and the one who hold power in society. Another is a patriarchy, where men are the rulers and decision makers. With opposite philosophies, these two neighboring societies look down on each other and think themselves as the more superior one. It's a perfect backdrop for Romeo and Juliet, or a silly romantic comedy. And luckily for us, it's the latter. The Romance of Tiger and Rose is a lighthearted and adorable 2020 Chinese web drama that took the internet by surprise. It has 4 million views on the first episode on YouTube alone, and a 7.4 score on Douban, a popular Chinese review website. For reference, anything above a 7 is quite impressive for a relatively low-budget web drama like this one. What is a web drama? It's a drama that's made specifically for internet broadcasting. It targets a younger audience group. Typically, it has more freedom in terms of its content, so it can be bolder and more creative. But it does have the stereotype that it has a lower budget, uses newer actors, has lower production quality, and less depth to a storyline compared to traditional TV network drama. However, a lot of these have changed, and has gotten really popular starting around the years 2018 and 2019 with high-quality historical drama productions like The Tamed, Story of Yangtze Palace, The Longest Day in Chang'an, and Joy of Life. With the pandemic driving people to spend more time at home, web dramas are becoming much more mainstream entertainment in China in the past year. Anyway, back to our drama. The Romance of Tiger and Rose is a historical romantic comedy that was broadcasted in May 2020. The story starts in the modern day with a drama writer as our heroine. She faints from exhaustion after working non-stop to rewrite the whole script to meet the director's demand. When she opens her eyes again, she finds herself living inside her own fictional story. Our female lead becomes Chen Qian, who is the third princess of a matriarchal society. In the original script, she is a very insignificant side character with a terrible reputation. Our male lead is Han Shuo, a cold and calculated prince from the neighboring patriarchal society. He plans to wow and marry the second princess, our heroine's sister, who everyone thinks is the most capable and is the most likely to become the crown princess of their society. The prince is then supposed to use the second princess' love and betray her to claim the cities as his own. But the plan goes awry. He ends up catching the spoiled third princess' fancy and is forced to marry her instead. And this is the third princess before our heroine gets transported in time. The night before the wedding is when our heroine gets transported into the story. It seems awesome at first. She just got from being a book writer, living paycheck to paycheck, to now a princess with riches beyond her wildest dreams. But there's just one minor hiccup. She had written her character, the third princess, to be killed by the male lead on their wedding night. How romantic! This creates the first overarching goal in her supposedly lighthearted comedy. Our heroine needs to stay alive. Her second, less urgent goal is to get back to the modern world. In the original script, after the prince's betrayal, the second princess fights to take back her city and earns her place as the crown princess. At the crowning ceremony, the sky will show its blessing for the new crown princess. As a writer, our female lead is well versed in the time-traveling drama tropes. She surmises that the crowning ceremony will be her chance to get back to the modern world. So, she needs to keep the plot on its original course as she had written, which means that the second princess must become the crown princess for the crowning ceremony to take place. The rest of the story insists with her struggling to keep her plot afloat when she's not too busy fighting to stay alive. Determined to carry out his original plan of marrying the second princess, our male lead needs to kill the third princess who is in the way of his grand scheme. For someone who already knows the plot and every character's motives, how hard is it for our female lead to defy her own writing and escape her character's written death? She gotta achieve this first goal if she wants any chance to get back to the real world. It would not have been so challenging if her male lead is either more decisive about killing the third princess or not trying to keep planning to murder her but changes his mind last second. First, it's poison on their wedding night. He changes his mind. Then, it's hiding poison in the food, but there are just too many dishes and he cannot figure out which dish the poison is in. He's not living up to his calculated nature. After these two failed poison attempts, fine, let's try something else. This time, we'll have arrows surrounding all sides in the garden and ready to shoot when our female lead arrives. Except, he changes his mind last minute again. Unbelievable. Please be more decisive, dear prince. Switching sides doesn't make anyone happy, and the damage is already done. Our female lead is startled to see the fire arrow at her feet, and that is enough to send her muster all her brain power and other resources, like the local storytellers, to help her plot and avoid this death trap. Our female lead surprises our male lead with a hot pot dinner and a birthday gift to wow him away and melt his heart. Just when she thinks she's finally safe, our male lead brings back the same old trick again, the poison. Oh, but this time our heroine is prepared too. She brings out her ultimate weapon, a foul-smelling 1,000-year-old root. It smells bad enough to send someone to their deathbed. Just kidding. That stinky ancient root is a cure to his heart disease. He is said to not live past the age of 20, and he is already 19 right now. Getting this root medicine was a prince's original intent all along for coming to marry one of the princesses. Why else would he lower himself to a lower social position by coming to a matriarchal society? In fact, this stinky old root is the town's most valuable treasure. It has been passing down for generations in the ruling family since it was first founded. Our family broke all the rules just to get this medicine for him. And that just to show how desperate our heroine is to stay alive. The foul-smelling root not only saves the prince's life, but also apparently rewires his brain from being a cold and ruthless tiger to an adorable kitten who somehow convinced himself to fall in love with our heroine. Our female lead stole the medicine just to stay on the good side of the prince. She was definitely not in love with him. Instead, the prince thought that the prince did all that sacrifices because she is in love with him. The medicine definitely rewires his brain, and his personality goes from being a tiger to a kitten. Hence, the drama title is called The Romance of Tiger and Rose, and not Poison and Rose. This unintended side effect solved our heroine's first objective of staying alive. But now, she's on to her second goal of staying on track to the original storyline to get back to the modern world. And from her current understanding, that's by getting our male lead and the second princess to fall in love with each other. How can our heroine be completely blind to the prince's love for her? She keeps on trying to create opportunities for the second princess and the prince to spend time alone, like creating a romantic fighting encounter at a temple. But our prince is determined to make our female lead feel his love for her. In the cave collapse incidents, he stands by the third princess' side to save hundreds of miners' lives, even when they face opposition from the second princess. In the Crown Princess competition, he helps her prepare for it and coordinates behind the scene to help her secure the Crown Princess title. Our female lead warms up to the prince. She slowly realizes that she might be in love with him too, and is more reluctant to give him away. The second princess feels betrayed and jealous as she's falling for the prince, but he clearly loves the third princess instead of her. Besides failing in the love department, she also lost to our third princess in the competition to become the crown princess, despite being favored by everyone as a winner. In fact, the whole town bet the second princess would win, except our prince who bet our third princess will win. This anger towards the third princess turned into hatred really fast. At the royal hunting day, the second princess fires an arrow towards her. "Oh, second princess, what happened to you? You were supposed to be the protagonist of this story." Luckily, the third princess was saved by our prince. In the original script, the prince is supposed to use gunpowder to assassinate the queen during a parade to further his agenda of taking over the city. But instead, the prince decides to give the city fireworks instead of explosions. Moved by the prince's willingness to change for the third princess, these two lovebirds finally confess their love for each other under the colorful night sky. Finally, this has been the moment we've been all waiting for so long. Just when things seem finally nice and happy, a minor character's sudden death jolts our female lead back to reality. Although the events at the parade are different from the original script, this character's death is similar. She concludes that these characters' fates are unavoidable. To save the prince from being killed as he would have in the original plot, the only solution that she could think of is to banish him away from the current setting. Without any explanation, she sends him away and pushed him out. Feeling hurt and betrayed, the prince turned back to his old nature in his banishment. He plots with the second princess to revolt against the third princess and the queen's current ruling of the town. Luckily, the third princess and her friends defended the city, but our prince is sentenced to death for his revolts. How did this good intention lead to such catastrophic outcome in the blink of an eye? On the execution day, the third princess faked her own death to save him. Thank goodness. The love between them does not die. They left the city to the prince's hometown to escape the second princess' pursuit of them. Back in the matriarchal town, the second princess rules with an iron fist and puts down men in the society even further down by not allowing them to go to work or go to school, and takes away their freedom to file for divorce. The third princess and the prince decides to go back to change this inequality. In the physical takeover, the second princess aims to soar at the third princess, but the prince takes a hit for her instead. Our female lead is torn between staying behind with the prince for his last days or attempting to go back to the modern world at the second princess crowning ceremony. With the last of his strengths, the selfless prince takes the third princess with him to attend the crowning ceremony. But unlike in the original script, the sky shows its blessing for the third princess instead of the second princess. As the sky shows its blessing, our female lead is transported into the modern world. She remembers that the prince looks very identical to the male lead actor for her drama. She heard that he was in a car accident, so she hurriedly goes to the hospital to see if that might be him. The actor doesn't react at first, but calls her orange classmates. Such odd naming. But that's when she realized that he is her prince, because that's how she refers to her characters with fruit names in the fictional world and not in the script in the modern world. The romantic spark between these two leads are unmistakable. There are so many sweet and adorable moments of them together. As a hallmark signature of a 下饭剧 drama, when there is amazing chemistry like the ones between our leads, it kind of makes up for all the plot holes the drama has, and it makes me a very happy camper who won't complain too much. Beside the adorable lead couple, the goofy side characters also form an incredible pair. Our male lead sidekick has the most sincere apologies. He repeats not once, not 2 times, but at least 3 times of, "Please give me a chance to redeem myself." Why do you keep disappointing our cold and calculated prince? On the other hand, our female lead sidekick is definitely doing a better job at pleasing his boss. His only trouble is to keep his message to 10 words long only. Together, the pair creates many funny and memorable moments in the drama. One clever thing that this drama did was calling out its plot holes and shortcomings. This drama is self-aware of its cliches and flaws. Instead of giving me the chance to complain about it, they self-acknowledge it first. How clever! Our female lead acknowledged that she writes her sidekick to be worthy to fill up time in the original script, which it sounds like it's a common practice in drama writing. But hey, just because they called it out doesn't always hide the fact that they don't always address it. The male lead actor points out that the motives and behaviors of his character in the original script doesn't make any logical sense. He asked that in the original script, why would the male lead fall in love with the second princess if they both look down on each other's gender because of their upbringings? Without equality, how can two people communicate, and let alone the possibility of love? Did he fall in love with the second princess only because she's a female lead and that they need to fulfill the romantic comedy plotline? Good question indeed. Another bonus point is that any misunderstanding and conflict are always resolved within 2 or 3 episodes. So nothing is ever dragged on for too long. So you can safely turn off your brain and just enjoy the sweet and silly ride. But if you're looking for something to keep your mind engaged and to think deeper upon, then this is probably not the right drama for you. There are plenty of parts that don't make too much sense if you think a little bit too hard about it. There are so many of this type of time and world-traveling Chinese drama these days. But the romance of Tiger and Rose captured my attention in the first few minutes by introducing the matriarchal society in which the drama takes place. The story shows a stark contrast between the matriarchal society where our heroine is from and a patriarchal society where a male lead is from. It reverses the role of gender in family, politics, and society. It's quite an interesting and bold premise. And it's quite a step apart from the patriarchal societies that you typically see in historical Chinese dramas. Given the premise, you might think that we're set up to touch on gender issues and the drama will have a more serious note. But as with many of these type of time and world traveling dramas, the romance of Tiger and Rose makes a perfect 下饭剧, which literally translates to a drama that people watch while eating. It's funny, sweet, addictive, and no thinking required. 下饭剧 is more broadly used to describe drama that meet the following criteria. First, it cannot be too long, both in episode length and number of episodes. We want the right length to finish a meal and don't want the story to drag on for too long. Second, it's usually funny, lighthearted, and maybe even silly at times. Basically, it should not require any thinking and is something that we can accept at face value. We're here to turn off our brain and just enjoy the ride. And lastly, nothing too gross, sad, or violent. We don't want to ruin our appetite. With 24 well-paced episodes, the romance of Tiger and Rose brings laughter and joy with just the right amount of acceptable plot holes. Even with all of its flaws, I still truly enjoy this drama. After all, this is a perfect 下饭剧. Hope you like this video. Comment below to let me know what you think of this drama. Please like and subscribe. If you're interested, here are some other videos to check out. Until the next time, bye!